We're still continuing the explanation of Surah Al-Baqarah. We said, well, Allah said that the shaitan is promising you poverty and ordering you to do adultery, and Allah is promising you forgiveness and goodness, and Allah is wide and knowledgeable. This ayah came after Allah Azza wa Jal saying, "O who you believe, spend from the goodness that you have spent, and from what we have given you from earth. And do not take the bad and spend from it. You're not going to take anything unless you are just dipping in it, and know that Allah is rich and grateful." Then Allah said that the shaitan is promising you poverty and ordering you to do bad and evil things, and Allah is promising you forgiveness from Him and goodness, and Allah is wide and knowledgeable. And to remind you what we said before, that all the wealth that is required zakah is 5 types: the currency, the merchants, the contracts, the livestock, the fruits, and then the minerals and everything you get from the ground, like oil, gold, and rakas is the treasure that is buried from previous generations. And each one there is like rules to cover everything. And that's kind of they have went in details on the part of the zakah. This is not the time to talk in details about the zakah, but we want to talk about how the shaitan is promising you is promising poverty for you. Allah is asking you to spend in His sake, and the shaitan is sitting there and telling you, "Oh, you need for your house, for your kids, and all the economy, the bad economy, all of this." He is doing all his best to stop you from spending in the sake of Allah. There is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said that the shaitan has something. He got something close to the son of Adam, and to the angels. They have also each one they're trying to get closer, but the shaitan to promise evil and to deny the truth, and the angel he promised you of goodness and to believe in the truth. So whenever he found the goodness, then he should know it is from Allah, and then he need to be thankful. And whomever find the other one in his soul, in his self, that he need to ask Allah's refuge from the shaitan. The shaitan has promised Allah Azza wa Jal he will find every path, and he will sit in your path, try to prevent you from entering any goodness. He will try to lower your energy. You wanted to spend in the sake of Allah, and then he will start reminding you of the situation, the economy, and try to deprive you from giving at least not all the things they promised or all things you wanted to do, because he has sworn by Allah Azza wa Jal that he's going to astray us, to deceive us, all of us, except for the selected people that Allah said that it is his path, and my servant, you have no power on them. So the shaitan is promising you poverty. The shaitan always scaring you of being poor, and he always purify for you to disobey Allah Azza wa Jal, stay away from his path. He has 2 ways to enter the human being. The first one is through desires. It's usually is for those who are disobedient to Allah. It's easy for him. The woman, the adultery, the drinking, the gambling, all the things that we see spread everywhere. The second one is the doubtful things, the innovations, the things that could put people astray. Allah combined between these two, and He said that you have enjoyed your power just like those before you. They enjoyed their bodies and their power. And here Allah is combining the following the desires and the doubtful things. And the safe way is that Allah will save from both. At the day where there is no goodness except for those who came to Allah with a pure heart, the one that is safe from the affliction or the trials of the doubtful things and the desires. So every time you hear the shaitan whisper in your ear to promise you poverty and to deny the truth from Allah Azza wa Jal, he's given you doubts in all the in Allah Azza wa Jal, that you should not trust Allah, trust only the money in your hand, trust yourself instead of Allah. This is the shaitan. So ask Allah's refuge from the shaitan. And if you find goodness of something that is encouraging you to do good, then you should know that this is from Allah, from the angels. That is an angel that is encouraging to do something good. Remember what the angel that comes every day, that comes in every day, he says, "Oh Allah, give for those who spend replacement, and for those who hold back rotten and spoilage in their wealth. At the day of judgment, you will be under the shade of your charity. So don't give lightly, so you'll have a strong shade. At the day, there is no other shade but the shade that Allah provides." So when you know this is a mercy from Allah Azza wa Jal, that He had chosen you, that He sent an angel to inspire you to give and do goodness, so it will lead you to the forgiveness of Allah. Allah Azza wa Jal, whenever He loves somebody, He sends the angels who's going to beautify the goodness. And the disobedient people, Allah send them, because they are far away from Allah, Allah send the shaitan Astaghfirullah. The disobedient people are not under Allah's protection because they are far away from Allah. So Allah did not care much about them, so He let them go astray because He knows what's going to happen to them. But when Allah Azza wa Jal likes somebody, care about somebody, He will prevent him from doing the evil things, the thing that's going to keep him away from Allah. May Allah make us among those. His mercy covered everything. His power is over everything. His knowledge covered everything. For people, Allah Azza wa Jal gave some of His servants some goodness. No matter how big it is still limited. But Allah Azza wa Jal is limitless in His attributes. It's absolute. His wisdom, His power, His giving, His mercy is. When Allah gives on something that's suitable for the humans. But Allah's names and attributes, it's something that's suitable to His holiness, His oneness, and His status. The shaitan, again, is promise you poverty and order you to do that what is evil. And Allah is promise you forgiveness. So this hadith that we have mentioned, that the shaitan is there, that try to get closer to Ibn Adam, is correct, taking it to Ibn Mas'ud. But there is some people, they said it is weak, and some people said it's strong. Sheikh Albani, he put it weak in the beginning, and then he strengthened it, because it's to say that Ibn Mas'ud said, that's authenticated, but to make it too the Prophet ﷺ, this is where some of the scholars had dispute about, because Ibn Mas'ud cannot say something of that he had no knowledge, and that's what Sheikh Al-Albani said, that Ibn Mas'ud have no knowledge what Allah brings to every person. He must have got it from the Prophet ﷺ. The word lamma is closeness, as you saying, the Prophet ﷺ saying, if you forgive, you give in abundance. And who is there a servant who did not get close to the sins? Allah said that if you stay away from the big things, then Allah will forgive your minor sins and makes you enter in a good entrance. The things that wipes the sins are many: the prayers, the remembrance of Allah, the calamity that you go through, and all the other things that we all know that wipe the sins, the minor sins. Then Allah said, He brings the wisdom to whomever He wishes. And whomever receives the wisdom, He has given a great bounty, and only those who contemplate could remember. The wisdom is to be correct in the action and in the saying and in the action. Allah gives this to whomever He wishes, and whomever is given that, he was given a great bounty. It was disputed, what is the meaning of hikmah? Some who said it is the Sunnah, and some it is the Quran, because Allah said a great wisdom, and Allah said that to Rasulullah's wife, mention what is recited in your houses of the ayat and from the wisdom. And also Allah said that we have given the Prophet the wisdom and the good talk. And also it was mentioning, is to have the balanced debate in the debate, where you get to the point, the correct point. If you combine all this, it is the correct action and the correct knowledge. That when you want to combine all the goodness is when you see the goodness, and then you are implementing it, you are working it, you're doing it. You're not confused with the issues when you recite the Quran and you look at the lives of the prophets and the righteous people. Then you see this meaning very clearly. The companion of Allah, Ibrahim, who said, "Oh Allah, give me righteousness," and this is the theoretical one, and alhiqni bis salihin, let me follow the righteous people and make me follow them. This is the action. Also Allah said in the Quran on one of the prophets that I am the servant of Allah. This is what Isa said, and the Shaykh is talking about examples from the Quran about the theoretical part and the action. Like when Allah said to Rasulullah, know that there is no God but Allah. This is the theoretical, not the theoretical, but the knowledge that you have to gain, and then فاستقم, and be straightened up for it, meaning the action that has to follow this knowledge that you have gained. This is the complete of the righteousness. And only people who are God conscious at all times, and their tongue is busy with the mention of Allah, and they kept their gaze, their sight from the thing that Allah has forbidden. He stayed away from being in places where Allah forbidden. This is the person that deserves the light from Allah, the guidance from Allah, the inspiration from Allah, and the guidance from Allah in the life of any person. If he get married, he will get the wisdom. He will be the happiest person, even if he is poor or like some weakness in him. And he will be the unhappiest person if he did not have that wisdom. So to put the things in its places, this is the wisdom. To be righteous on what you say in the right places at the right time, this is also from the wisdom. Some people, they get the knowledge, but they don't have the wisdom. So they put the talk out of its place. The Khawarij, they have knowledge, but they want and they confuse the ayat of Allah Azza wa Jal on they applied the ayat of the disbelievers, and they applied them on the Muslims instead of the disbelievers only. And that's why they divided the Muslims, and they tried did everything worse, even though they are worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal as He described, that you will humble yourself compared to your fasting to their fasting, or your fasting to their fasting, or your prayers to their prayers, your good charity to their good charity. But they are just like the arrow. If you put it through an animal, it goes from one side, gets out of the other side very quickly, and there is nothing, not even maybe a blood clot or something, or like a small point of blood. That's it. So whomever is given the wisdom, he is given a great bounty. Some of the people, they are getting a lot of knowledge, but they lack the wisdom. The wisdom originally is that piece of metal that you put in the face of the animal, like the camel or the horse, so you'll be able to control his speed. He will not go right or left, except with that piece of metal that you could guide him right or left. And it's called al-hikmah, meaning the stopping. That it stops you, meaning the hikmah, the wisdom, stops you from getting astray, from doing something that is wrong, from falsehood. And then Allah said, and only who remember are the people with the good who are smart, those who are with the brains, who think, those who understood, and they put their brains into the goodness that Allah has given them. By the way, the Quran, it has an indication that says that it's guidance to the righteous. It's not to humans. Is it a guidance to humanity, or is it guidance to the biased. There is a general guidance that Allah gives for each person, where He gives him both sides, and then it is up to everybody to decide which path to take. And here Allah, the guidance, He is clarifying what is right from wrong. But the success into following what the truth is, what the right things to do, this is something that Allah chooses to it, those who repent, to go back to Allah, those who accepted the clearance from Allah. Allah give them that guidance of success and successfulness in applying the guidance from Allah Azza wa Jal. You hear in the Quran that the Quran increase some people astray more than what they are. Allah said it will increase some of them in their disbelief and in their astray. And this is what the Quran does to the disbelievers. And at the same time, it is guidance, it is healing to those who believe. But those who disbelieve in Allah Azza wa Jal, it will make them away from Allah Azza wa Jal. But the believers, it increased their faith, and they are having glad tidings. And those who are diseased in their heart, it will increase in their rich, and they died were they still disbelievers. And Allah said, and that's why they say that the faith differentiate whether it's this practical part or in belief. The level of the believers is different, it varies. The way Abu Bakr believed the Prophet ﷺ is different than other. That's why he was called as-Siddiq, because he believed in everything the Prophet ﷺ said, and it is deeper and it is higher in status than all the followers of Muhammad ﷺ. Also the companions themselves, who saw the inspiration from Allah, they seen the Quran descend on the Prophet ﷺ, they've seen all the incidents, their faith is higher and different, because they witnessed everything, not just heard about it like we did. When Allah said to Musa, what made you rush to away from your country, from your followers? He said, I came so you could be happy, Ya Rabb, Allah. Then Allah told him that they were tested behind him, and the Samari misguided him. He heard it from Allah, but when he saw it himself, he got angry to Allah Azza wa Jal, and he threw the tablets, and he took his brother's head and his beard, dragged him to him. He said, why you let them do this? Did you disobey me? He said, do not take from my head or my beard. I was afraid you're going to say that you have deviated between the sons of Israel. You did not follow my orders. So Allah gives the wisdom to whomever wishes, and whoever is given the wisdom, he is given a great bounty. And only those who have the brains, they understand and know. From the people that are given the knowledge and did not get the wisdom, and the Shaykh is saying about some people, they get the smartness, but the other one with the za and the, meaning that they were not given the purifications. We have three even the Ahnaf, they agreed. All there's three. The Mufti who don't know, he deserved to be stoned because he is destroying people. And the doctor, these are the people that you are prevent them from what they're doing. The Mufti was ignorant, and Abu Hanifa was very tough on them. He said, yes, I have to be very tough on the people of fatwa, because they have to be knowledgeable, they have to be qualified for it, because if they start they will put the whole people astray. When the scholar make mistakes, a lot of people make the same mistake because they follow him in his fatwa. And imagine, meaning the thing that is tough is the person who have no shyness. Is very rude, and the one who is doing the things that is very big in the sense, and nothing stops him, who do not fear Allah, and he don't care about what people, and don't care what he is doing, or what is the what is forbidden, and he just teach people the tricks. Like someone like, for example, someone said, I divorced my wife 3 times. What's the solution? We don't want to leave each other, and we want to go back to each other, and I'm not gonna let no one touch her. I cannot have that. He said, it's easy. He said, you become a disbeliever, because it destroy everything before, and if you embrace Islam, then you have you started again from zero. This is from the tricks that is ordering people to disbelieve in Allah, to make them get out. This is foolishness. He's a criminal according to Islam, and he should be doomed for a day that he's going to back to Allah, to know the weight of what he said. From the other examples, someone made a fatwa that he can sleep with his male slaves, because Allah said you can have sex with those the slaves that's underneath you, and this is, of course, Allah allowed it for the woman not to have the same sex. Unfortunately, some people might make this kind of fatwa, and maybe this is something, the strangest thing I've heard. Someone saying, if singing is haram, then Prophet ﷺ will not call his daughter Kulthum. And nowadays in Egypt, Kulthum is a very famous singer. Look how he is astray and making people astray. These are the people who are destroying on people their goodness. Someone is, let's get another example, someone who have like an agency for Hajj, and he collected money and took their passport, and all of a sudden he disappear. Or someone is renting cars, he don't have cars, and he is just trick people and selling them tricks. Also, that's a third one. And also the doctor that practice in medicine, and he's not a doctor because he is destroying people's health. And some of those one of the scholars in the Hanafi madhab, he said, I saw in Egypt some people who are trying to look like they are scholars, and they have taken positions. These people are close to the authority, so they had access to public people, and they use that to like they try to look like the scholars, but they have nothing to do with knowledge. So he said they're not going to save themselves from the punishment in at the day of judgment. They've taken positions because they are mixing themselves with the authorities and the tyrants, and share the corruption that they are spreading. So they are astray, and they put people astray. So this is something that was old. It was in the sons of Israel, and Allah said, the person that we have given our son, and he left him, and the shaitan left him, and he was among the astray. May Allah protect us. Inshallah, we'll continue tomorrow. المراوح اللي قدام ما تشتغل. اعتقد انه كل ما بتشتغل بتسبب مشكله في الصوت. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا